So the first question, which of the following changes of state of matter describes sublimation? The answer is A, solid straight to a gas. Second one, which of the following diagrams most likely shows the process of osmosis? Osmosis is the movement of water particles from an area of high concentration to an area of lower concentration. So where do we have a high concentration of water molecules? We have the higher concentration of water molecules on this side with the low solute. So where is it going to go? Is it going to go from this side to this side or from this side to this side? It's going to move from where there's more of it to less. So therefore the answer would be A, moving from a low solute to a high solute. Item 3 refers to the following diagrams which displays the seeds under different conditions in 4 test tubes plugged with cotton wool. So all of them plugged with cotton wool. Now 3, which of the following or in which test tube is germination most likely to take place? We have to look at the conditions. We have the temperature. We also have if the cotton wool that the seeds are on is dry or moist. What is necessary for germination? We need air. We have that in these 3. We need moisture. We don't have this here because the wool is dry, but it is present in these 2. And we also need temperature for the enzymes to start moving. So this one is 0, so this isn't going to happen. So the answer is 2. Item 4 to 5 refers to the following parts of a flower. In answering item 4 to 5, each option may be used once, more than once, or not at all. So question 4, which part of the flower forms the seed after fertilization? We know that this is the ovule, so the answer is A. And which structure is the site where the male gametes are produced? Where is the pollen made? It's made in the anther. The answer is C. 6. The most important reason for ensuring that a baby is fed its mother's milk produced during the first 3 to 4 days of lactation is that it. What's the reason? Remember, with this, we're talking about immunity here. So it boosts the baby's immune system and gives protection against infection. 7. Which of the following methods of birth control is most likely to prevent the spread of sexually transmitted diseases? The answer is barrier. You have that physical barrier there. 8. Which of the following word equations represents the process of photosynthesis? The answer is A. We have carbon dioxide plus water energy, which we'll get from the sun, gives us glucose and oxygen. Why wouldn't it be sucrose? Sucrose is the form in which glucose is transported, and sucrose is glucose plus fructose. This is what is made initially from photosynthesis. Item 9 to 10 refers to the following diagram of the human digestive tract. To 9, the organ labeled 4 is this here, this little bag. So we know that that is the gallbladder. 10, hydrochloric acid is produced, it's in the stomach. Which part is the stomach? It's that J-shaped bag. But we have to look for the position of it. We know from the mouth, the food goes down the esophagus and enters into the stomach. So the answer is 2, which is B. Then 11. Which of the following types of drugs are used to get rid of water from the human body? The answer is D. 12. The part of the heart that separates the left side from the right side is called the septum. That's C. 13. The bone in the upper arm is called the humerus. D. 14, a hinge joint as found is found at the knee. So we know we have the knee as well as the elbow. 15. Antibodies are important in the human body because they control hormones, protect against diseases, help make red blood cells, or regulate blood glucose levels. We know that this is the immune system we're talking about here. So the answer is B, protects against diseases. 16. Which of the following are common features of our respiratory surface? We know the respiratory surfaces must be moist. It must have it must be well supplied with blood vessels. When it comes to the surface area, it must have a large surface area, not a small surface area. So the answer would be 1 and 3. So the answer is B. 17. Which of the following would not be considered a significant source of air pollution? The answer is A. Oil spills. This would fall under, like if it's in the sea, it will be water pollution. Yeah. But the rest, the wildfire, the volcanic eruption, we're getting dust from that, and the fumes that we get from the exhaust of vehicles. These are air pollution sources. Let's go down a little bit to C18. Right. Which of the following statements about respiration is true? The answer would be C, because aerobic respiration requires oxygen, while anaerobic respiration does not require oxygen. 19. Which of the following processes are associated with excretion by the kidneys? What happens in the kidneys? We know for sure this is where filtration happens, and we also have the reabsorption of certain materials. For example, the glucose in the first proximal convoluted tubule there, and then we have water and salts in the loopal tenule. We have no evaporation taking place there. So the answer is 1 and 3, which is B. Item 20 refers to the following diagram of the eye. So you have the structure of the eye here. 20. Which structure transmits impulses to the brain? The answer would be C. This is where the optic nerve is. 21. The endocrine system produces hormones. The answer is C. 22. The 3 small bones found in the middle of the ear of the human being are called D, would be your answer. 23. Which part of the eye allows a person to focus on both near and distant objects? This is our lens. The answer is B. 24. To practice good personal hygiene, a person should wash his or her hands after 1. Using the toilet, yes. 2. Putting out garbage, yes. And 3. Cutting up meat to cook. So the answer is all 3, therefore it is D. 25. Which of the following is a parasite? Based on what we have here, all of these things are pests, but which is the parasite which actually holds on to the host, taking from the host while harming the host in exchange? This is the tick. The answer is C. 26. The type of pest control which involves the use of a predator is called A. Biological control. So that first part there was basically section A of the Integrated Science syllabus with the biology part of it, right? So now we move on into part C of the syllabus here. So item 27 refers to the following pictures showing methods of heat transfer. The method of heat transfer at 1 here, so it's the rod. This is showing what type? Is it convection, conduction, or radiation? For sure, we know it has nothing to do with evaporation. So D is wrong. We know radiation comes from a source. This isn't it. So if you're thinking about radiation, think about the sun and how it works in terms of transmitting heat energy. So it's not that. So is it convection or conduction? The answer is C, conduction, because this is where the molecules that are close to each other, they're passing on energy. So the one from the source, so let's say this is the flame here, that will give energy to this one, which is the closest. This will start to vibrate, give energy to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and so on. So this is why the person will have to wear the gloves, because eventually this metal rod would begin to get hot. 28. Liquids and gases normally expand when heated and contract when cooled. This principle explains the functioning of a D mercury thermometer. Item 29 refers to the following picture of an athlete jumping over a hurdle. So 29. What type of energy is the athlete using to jump over the hurdle? This would be C, kinetic energy, energy due to movement or motion. 30. Which of the following energy conversions takes place during the process of photosynthesis? We have light energy being converted. Is it kinetic or chemical energy? It would be chemical energy. So the answer is D. 31. Which of the following is not a conductor of electricity? So if it's not a conductor, then it's an insulator. It does not allow electricity to pass through it, and that is plastic. D. 32. A fire extinguisher that contains water should not be used on bushfires. We have to throw water on that, so we'll use it here. So this is not the answer. Chemical fires. Remember, chemical reactions take place in an aqueous environment. So if we throw water there, or we use an extinguisher that has water, we don't know how it's going to react with the chemicals. So that means it's this one, and also we don't want to put water on electricity. So it would be the answer that has 2 and 3, which is C. Items 33 to 34 refer to the following safety equipment. So in answering item 33 to 34, each option may be used once, more than once, or not at all. So which equipment makes a person working on the side of the road more visible to motorists? This would be the safety clothing. So you have on the fluorescent clothing, and they'll be able to see you when the light reflects on you. And 34, which equipment protects a person from toxic fumes? This would be the respirator, so the answer would be D. 35. Which of the following types of machines are a first-class lever? So what is a first-class lever? What makes a first-class lever? Remember, when we're talking about levers, we have the fulcrum or the pivot, we have the load, as well as the effort. The first-class levers, we have the, let's say this is the pivot or the fulcrum in the middle. Then you have the load on one side, and you have the effort on the other side. So this is first class. So which of these examples show this? The answer would be C. The claw hammer, the crowbar, as well as the seesaw is examples of first class levers. Now we have this here. Why wouldn't it be C? Or why can't it be B as well? Or even D? The answers that throw it off is the tweezer. The tweezer is a third class because you have the fulcrum on one end, the effort in the middle, and the load on the next end. With the wheelbarrow, what happens here with the wheelbarrow? The wheelbarrow is also not an example of a first class lever. 36. Which of the following formulae is used to calculate the mechanical advantage or MA of a machine? The answer is 37. Which of the following are properties of aluminum alloys that make them suitable for the manufacture of aircraft and boats? Well, it is light, so it wouldn't sink or make the aircraft or boat too heavy, and it's very strong. Is it expensive? It is not too expensive. So the answer would be something that has 1 and 2 in it, which is A. 38. The word equation that describes the reaction between aluminum and hydrochloric acid is A, because we get hydrogen as the gift off. So it exchanges and it gives off hydrogen. So you get aluminum chloride plus hydrogen. With 37 as well, something being cheap or expensive, it doesn't have to do with what makes it suitable. So the properties that make it suitable is that it's light and strong. Then 39. The rusting of iron is an example of B. Oxidation. 40. Which of the following substances must be present for rusting turkey? We know that we need oxygen and we also need water. So the answer is something that has 1 and 2, which is A. 41. Which of the following forms a suspension in water? A. Soil. 42. Which of the following chemicals remove nail polish? We know this for sure, especially the girls. So this is acetone. This is what we use to remove nail polish. Then 43. The following data were obtained in an experiment to investigate the best soil pH for different crops. Which crop shows that it grows best in a neutral soil? Remember with the pH scale, so let me draw it on this side. If we have the pH scale here, we know 7 is neutral. So this side, depending on the diagram that you're using, this spot could either be 1 or it could be 0, and here would be 14. So going to this side is your acidic side, and going to this side is your alkali side. So if it's neutral, it's something that is around 7. So the only answer that has 7 included here would be B. 44. Hard water is water that D. It does not form lather easily with soap. 45. How many planets are in our solar system? We have 8 planets in the solar system. Which of the following is the hottest planet? So to figure out which is the hottest planet, we have to know the order of the planets. And we see that Mercury would be the hottest planet. 47. The eye of the hurricane is the center of the hurricane. That's where it's most common. 48. Decayed organic matter in soil is called B. Humus, or some people say humus, whichever way you want to pronounce it. 49. Which of the following practices prevents soil erosion? Planting along a contour, yes. Building terraces, yes. And keeping the ground covered, yes. So it's all of them, which is D. 50. A non-moving boundary between two air masses is called a stationary front. So even if you couldn't figure it out, that word stationary tells me that it's stagnant, it's not moving. 51. Which of the following tides occurs when there is a full moon? So when there's a full moon, we get D, which is the spring tide. We're almost to the end. 52. Which of the following processes results in water moving from the ocean to the atmosphere? We know that this is the process of evaporation. Respiration, no. Precipitation, no. This is the opposite, where it's falling. Condensation, no. So 53. The type of fishing that is most damaging to the aquatic environment is E. Trawling. 54. Which unique property of water allows small insects and spiders to be able to walk or glide across its surface? That would be the high surface tension there. 55. So hazards can arise while scuba diving because of a lack of oxygen. If you run out of oxygen and you're not close to the surface, so yes. High pressure, yes, as you go deeper, and you're rapidly ascending to the surface, which could form the air bubbles. So yes, all three of them, which is D. 56. Which of the following is not an alternative source of energy? A candle. So C. 57. The type of energy contained in fossil fuels, we have chemical energy. 58. Which of the following sources of energy is non-renewable? Is it wind? No, wind is renewable. Solar is renewable. Wave is renewable. The answer would be coal. And the last two, item 59 refers to this diagram here. So this is like a bowling pin. So which of the following types of equilibrium is shown in the diagram? We know this has nothing to do with chemical equilibrium. So that's out of it. So is it stable, neutral, or unstable? The answer is A. Because the base, look at the base here, this is how we tell if something is stable or not. And 60. Which of the following diagrams represents an object in stable equilibrium? We know the answer would be. So thank you for tuning in. Remember to subscribe so you never miss an episode and share it with your friends that may need a little assistance preparing for exam.